Hi guys, welcome back to the Passion Podcast. Today we're in a different location. As you guys can see, we're in the basement, and I am here with my friend Thuba. Thuba, do you want to introduce yourself?
Okay, hi guys, I'm Thuba. I've been working here at the Hippodrome the whole summer, and I'm really happy to be on the podcast finally. I've heard a
Yes.
lot of good things about it, so kind of my chance to tell you a little bit about myself.
That's amazing. I'm so excited.
Yeah.
So, what is your passion?
I'd say I have a couple of passions, honestly. One of the main reasons I'm here at the Hipp is because growing up, I really wasn't into theater, but I've started to realize that it's really good for my confidence. It's nice for me to see a little bit more of the community. It's different as well. I feel like I do very serious things. So theater for me is something I enjoy, I think. Yeah, definitely something I enjoy.
Like the performing aspect or watching it or all of the above?
Watching it for sure. Growing up, watching it was the main thing. And then I think when I was 16, 17, that was the first time I was actually an important part in a play in school.
Yeah.
Wasn't like the lead or anything, but it was still like speaking roles. I got a chance to actually be up on stage and have maybe like a little monologue or something.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
What play was it?
It was designed by my drama teacher at that point in time.
Wait, that's cool.
I forgot his name now. I think it was something like Mr. Clark. The play was one of those whimsical ones where like they have all of those techniques. You break the fourth wall.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, it's like non-linear narratives as well.
Yeah.
So it was really cool to be exposed to that and have a role that actually meant something, as opposed to like always being like a bit part character.
Yeah.
Like in nativity plays growing up, I was always just something basic in the background. So yeah, that opportunity for me to be kind of front and center a little bit, it kind of made me feel good. And I was like,
Yeah.
okay, let me try it again. Let's see if this is something I actually enjoy, And yeah, it was a good experience overall.
That makes total sense. I did theater around those same ages too, and I was like really shy. Were you the same way?
Yeah, I was. I definitely was.
Yeah.
My confidence, I think, truly only came, I think, around COVID, actually. I think it happened like 2020. I think, yeah, I took a little bit of time to just sit with myself, kind of deal with the shyness. But I wouldn't even say it was proper shyness. I think it was just stage fright. Because as I talk to people, like maybe day-to-day, work, school, strangers, I'm fine. I think it's just going up on stage and knowing that everyone's staring up at you, that definitely made me nervous. And I think that was one of the reasons why I never got into theater until later on.
Like being perceived by like a massive group. Yeah,
Stressful,
because you can
very
kind of
stressful.
control how you're perceived or like what you're saying in a one-on-one conversation, but there's like, it's crazy to think that all of these people can have completely different perceptions of you, which is scary.
It's very intimidating. And especially, how like if you're on an actual stage, you have all those lights that are like coming from different angles.
Yeah.
There's all the blocking. So yes, it was acting and going up there, but then I also get intimidated by having to remember that, okay, remember your cues. If you mess it up, you're also messing it up for the people that are coming like after you in the scene.
Yeah.
So it's just all of that combined.
So much pressure.
Yeah, it makes everything way more stressful than it really needs to be.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it's supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be a way for you to express yourself. And I feel like I always overthought everything.
Yeah.
Everything.
Do you prefer like plays or musicals?
I think musicals, for sure.
Me too.
I've only ever really acted in plays. And even then, it's less than 5 plays in total. But I prefer watching and interacting with musicals just because of the music aspect. Like, there's so much theatricalness. There's so much story you can tell within the music as opposed to the dialogue. Dialogue is fine. Dialogue is great.
Yeah, super cool.
Yeah, but I appreciate the fact that the music comes with the melody. It's like a different vibe for whichever scene. Like you can really see the story that you're trying to tell with how creative a lot of the times the music is.
Yeah.
Like I recently watched Tick Tick Boom. Really loved it.
Oh my god.
I loved it.
That's on my watch list.
Yeah, no, it's great. And after watching that one, I was like, oh, okay. Like, you know, as you're watching a really good movie or really good play or whatever, like, you can envision yourself within it. That was definitely me. I was like, okay, if you put me in this scene, I could really nail it. I really felt like, oh, okay. Like, they looked like they were having a great time. The story was great. The emotions, the whole thing.
Yeah.
But plays in general, I do appreciate, but sometimes, like, the message can kind of go over my head.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like if
it's
really
just words,
yeah,
I agree.
Yeah, it's really at some point, like usually like halfway through whatever I'm watching, I kind of zone out a little bit. I don't know if I'm just hard to pay attention. So if it's just like dialogue consistently, then it's kind of hard. But you know, I think the music kind of allows me like a bit of time to just like relax and just watch and listen, as opposed to like paying attention to every single word.
And the emotion too. Like when I think about the first example that comes to my mind is Wicked. And like there's no amount of dialogue that can replace what defying gravity makes you feel.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I get you. Like, there's so many songs there. I think there's this one called Popular.
I love that
Popular. We're gonna be popular.
Yeah.
Like that whole vibe, it just really, it gets you even more excited for like what's to come on later on in the film. You're like, oh my god.
I know. I'm excited for the movie to come out, the Wicked movie.
Yeah, I'm excited too. I like watching it on bigger screens just because it feels like more of an experience.
Yeah.
So hopefully when it comes out, I can go see it in the cinema. But I do also want to see it on Broadway. I've never ever seen anything on Broadway.
Oh my gosh.
Never, not once.
I saw Wicked, like it wasn't like on Broadway, but it like came to my town or whatever. Like I live in Tampa, so it came to like one of the theaters there, and I saw it, and it was, oh my god, it was the best experience.
I'm so envious right now. So jealous.
What's your favorite musical?
Favorite? If I had to pick off the top of my head, I don't know. For some reason, they're not coming to me. But soundtrack wise, can I go for soundtrack wise?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, I really like The Little Shop of Horrors.
I just watched that for the first time the other day.
I've never watched the actual play in its entirety. I've watched like bits and pieces. Like,
I watched the movie.
Yeah, like growing up, it's very much like I see little snapshots. I have all the siblings, so if they were like watching something growing up, like watch little pieces. Same thing with my mom. She also likes trying out different things. Yeah. So whenever it was like an adaptation of a play or something, they would never play the whole thing for some reason. They'd be like, oh, okay, well, I'd play in maybe like the first 30 minutes and then like we'd go eat lunch while the film was still rolling, then we'd come back and only see the ending. Yeah, that was kind of the same thing with Little Shop of Horrors. But I, like, growing up, I paid attention to the soundtracks because now you have like Spotify, you've got iTunes, you've got YouTube, you can look at all of that stuff. Love the soundtrack.
Oh my god, Suddenly Seymour. And do you watch Glee?
Heard of Glee. Haven't watched it.
You would love Glee if you love musicals. And they do a cover of Suddenly Seymour on there. That's so good. I love it so much.
So they do like a whole bunch of covers, right? In Glee?
Yeah. But I think they might have done the play itself in the show. I don't really know. But it's a crazy show, but you would love it. So I wanted to talk to you about, you developed a curriculum for, can you explain what that's about? Because I don't really know. I would love to hear about it.
Yeah, that's actually a really exciting thing for us here at the Hippodrome. Like, all of us that have been working on it, we're really happy with what we have so far. It hasn't been implemented yet. It's going to be implemented in September.
And who's the curriculum for?
So the curriculum is basically there's a school here in Alachua County, Alachua Academy, and we're hoping to develop something for them that is very much theater based, but also incorporates a lot of real life skills. Yeah. So the type of theater is theater of the oppressed. It deals with a lot of social issues. So oppression, different types of oppression, and it kind of makes you as an audience member less docile, more of someone who's just observing. It really gets you into it. The whole idea is that you don't just have an audience that's sitting there and watching. Everybody's participating, everybody's contributing, everyone is helping tackle this scene, whether it's talking about oppression, whether it's a different social issue. So we really want the kids at this school to be able to, express themselves artistically, whether it's acting, there's designing, there's writing, there's a bunch of things we're trying to incorporate, but we want them to be able to gain a lot of practical use from it as well. So the actual academy, it's kids that are in basically juvenile detention. So we wanted to incorporate this for them to have something different. Something fun, something that they can enjoy. I've met a couple of the girls, and they're very big characters. They're very loud, they're very confident, they're very well spoken. So when you go into a class and you're sitting there and you're doing English and maths, that can be very boring. You might be good at it, but at the end of the day, it doesn't really help you physically express. Maybe
traditional school is not for everyone.
Definitely not for everybody, and especially for those girls that are in that situation, I definitely feel like everything can feel like confining. You don't really have a lot of freedom in terms of like where you can go, and like you can't just leave the institution, right? So an hour or 2 hours each week where they're able to express themselves, be free, articulate, examine, imagine, all of that stuff. We're really excited for them to get the chance to do that.
Wow, that's really beautiful. And like what you were saying about like having theater having like practical usages, like I think about like directing. Like if you're like directing a play, that's like teaching you so many life skills about like leadership and delegation and all of that.
Yeah, for sure. I think a lot of people, when they hear theater, you're like, oh, okay, so it's that whimsical thing by the side that not a lot of people pay attention to. Definitely with the older generations. Growing up, also my parents never valued theater like that. I also never valued theater like that. But then when you realize that through being in place, through being part of a writing process, through helping with blocking, helping with the script writing, helping with lighting, all of that stuff, it feels like you're part of something really great, but then also it helps with like different skills, like can help with your organization, leadership for sure. If you are the one who's like the stage manager, who's like, okay, so this person walks in at this time and does this, like it helps you be able to articulate and to time and realize that you're part of a team, and teamwork makes the dream work. So
true.
It's great for the actors, but it's great for everybody involved.
Yeah, that's really beautiful. And oh my gosh. So when you develop a curriculum, what's that process like? What was the first step for you guys as far as that goes?
Okay, so I started my internship when the curriculum was already developed. A big chunk of it was already there. So my fellow intern, he's no longer here at the Hippodrome, but he did a lot of the work. He has a bit of experience in curriculum building. So a lot of it is you start off with research, right? So we want to tackle something like theater of the oppressed. So here we have so many resources, whether it's books, whether it's the internet, whether it's Gabby and other colleagues here at the Hippodrome. We really consulted with them, like, what's theater of the oppressed? What can we learn from it? And different resource places like the Library of Congress, for example, like we've got a lot of information and inspiration there. So for me personally, when I came here, a lot of my early days were research, trying to understand what theater of the oppressed is, because I had no idea what it was before coming here, and then incorporating that into the actual program that we're trying to do. This is kids. We want to tailor it to them, right? So yes, once you do a bit of research on the actual medium that we're trying to do, then do your research on the actual academy that's going to be having this program. So I did a lot of research on Lacho Academy, and I learned a lot. I think also being there in person, I was able to take a couple of visits there as well, and I was able to gain a lot of perspective from the lead teachers there about what they want for the curriculum, what they hope that the kids will be able to enjoy. Like also a lot of the therapists there were able to give me a lot of feedback and say, okay, so maybe if we talk about this certain thing, maybe if we're talking about some sort of oppressions, there might be people that are a bit triggered. So how do we navigate that in a way that's suitable? A lot of the development process, I think, is collaboration. I could have never done it by myself without consulting with people along the way and saying, okay, this is what I've done for the past week. This is what I hope to do. This is the way in which I want to implement it. What do you guys think? What would you like to change? What would you like to add? Even if it's like a positive, encouraging thing, they're like, oh, okay, great, I like this part, develop that. That to me is like a really good feedback, because then it helps me think, okay, so this is heading down the right track. Let's see if I can also make something similar in a way. Let's see if I can get a similar reaction.
Yeah. And constructive criticism is super important, but also like a pat on the back is very important.
Very, very important. Yes. Personally, growing up, I think even to this day I do not take criticism very well. Like probably in my face, like I look like I'm fine, but internally I'm dying. I'm like, oh my god, this person hard. Like maybe somebody's critiquing like a piece of my work. They're like, oh, okay, maybe I was writing a paragraph on something, and people will say, oh, okay, maybe the tone you used, or maybe the grammar you used was incorrect. In my mind, I'm translating it, but like, oh, this person hates me. This person thinks I'm a horrible writer. This person, like I take it personally, even though I know it's not a personal thing.
It's hard not to. Yeah.
But definitely with this experience, like it's practical stuff. We're trying to develop something that is going to bring out the best in these kids. So if there is criticism that's aimed towards me, I've definitely had to learn to not take it personal. It's never personal. Well, at least here. I mean, other things are personal, but definitely with this curriculum, nothing was ever personal. We're all just trying to get the best out of each other to produce the best work that we can.
Yeah.
So the criticism was never. We never had issues of disrespect or people not listening to each other or not understanding what the vision is. I think this was a very safe space in which we're all able to articulate, this is what I want, this is what I hope we're able to achieve. And I'm very grateful for how smooth and how favorably the process has gone.
When is it going to be like implemented in the school?
So the hope is around September.
That's pretty soon.
Unfortunately, I won't be able to see it because I'm leaving in like August. I'm leaving Gainesville in mid-August-ish. So I won't be able to actually see it being implemented. But at least I was fortunate enough. We kind of did a little bit of a run through with the teens here that were for the summer spec camp.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think
that's wonderful.
Yeah, it was there were 2 groups. We did it with the first group of teens, I think. And at least in that way, I was kind of able to see the impact that it could potentially have on the Lachua Academy kids. And over here, these are kids that are like privileged in a lot of ways. A lot of them do have a bit of theater background. So yes, it's not going to be the exact same reaction as opposed to kids who haven't really had those resources given to them. But it was nice to see teenagers at the end of the day. Like, there is going to be similarity in their responses. So the kids the teens were way nicer than I thought they'd be. Way nicer. I really thought there'd be a lot of judgment.
I'm terrified of teenagers.
Very much so. Like going into it, I was like, oh, they're not going to respond well. They're just going to be on their phones the whole time. They're just really not going to give a crap about what's going on. But yes, there were a couple of instances where like they're not really paying attention. But I don't think that was because they hated the work. It was just very much like, it's a new idea. Like it takes a while for you to get used to it, to get comfortable with it. But we were able to do a run through for about an hour 30 minutes.
That's lovely.
We went through a couple of the core exercises that we want to be staples in our curriculum. Like we did breathing exercises, centering, walking around. We were also able to stage. So one of the things in theater of the press is like you have a scene, right? And you act out maybe an oppression scene, a social issue, and you have a couple of run-throughs in which you try out alternate ways in which the scene could have gone down to give the best or the most peaceful or the most conducive outcome. And the kids were like receptive to that. So we did a scene where someone was burgled, or no, someone wasn't burgled. A policeman came to the door of someone's house during the night. So the kids were acting out like, how would you have responded if a policeman came to your door at night? Yes, that is an oppression, and definitely there's some things we could have clarified for the kids and like the core issues. But at the end of the day, they were able to give, I think we did like 5 different situations of how you could have responded. Each of them had different outcomes. Like the body language was different in each one, and it was really nice to see them act out different ways in which things could have gone down. And at the end of it, we were able to say, okay guys, we think this is the best, as a whole group, this is the best way this could have gone down. This is safe. This reduces, maybe we didn't lie, we didn't confront this individual in a way that was aggressive or violent. We did it in a peaceful way, in a way that was very true and authentic. I think, yeah. And I honestly, I did not give them enough credit going into the meeting. I really thought they wouldn't be able to really tap into it like adults were. But kids know their emotions. I think they do. They definitely, we act like they don't know right from wrong. They do know what the safest possible route is. They do know how to think rationally and how to make sure that their
especially when they're
community is
like
good.
performing and are aware that they're being
Very much so. And even if we as the interns weren't watching, I do still think they'd be able to come up with those situations and come up with those different ways. So at the end of it, I was proud of myself and proud of my fellow intern for being able to run the class in the way that we did, but I was also very proud of the kids for responding in the way that they did. Like, it was just a mutual thing of like, okay guys, we can really do this. We know what this is about. We know ways in which we can really make this the best for all of us.
That's wonderful. Like, I didn't realize it's actively stretching like not only their creative muscle, but I didn't know about there's like such a practicality to it too, where it teaches you a lot about life. That's wonderful.
I think even for me, like day-to-day life, just being a part of the curriculum, I've definitely learned a lot about myself. You know, I don't have a problem with confrontation, right? But I'm not comfortable with it. I definitely, in the past, I have let people kind of walk all over me, and I have been confronted with like oppression situations. So just knowing that there are different ways in which it could have gone down, that moving forward there are tools and skills that I can use to make sure that I come out of things okay. You know, I think that definitely a curriculum like this would have definitely benefited me when I was in high school. And I'm happy that we're doing it for teenage students so that, you know, by the time they're like young adults or they're in college, they've already been exposed to a curriculum that kind of helps them deal with all of that in a way that doesn't feel pushy, in a way that doesn't feel like someone's forcing you or somebody's judging you or someone's saying you're making bad decisions, in a way that helps them express themselves artistically, but then also emotionally expands their mind. It's also physically, it's really good. We do a lot of walking around, a lot of movement. So yeah, I'm very happy with what we've got going on.
Yeah, that's wonderful. And I'm sure that it's incredibly fulfilling and rewarding it's kind of probably cathartic in a sense to give something to these kids that you wish that you had.
Yeah, very much so. And I was very privileged, you know, in my growing up, I had exposure to theater and its different skills and its uses, but these kids otherwise would not have had that same exposure. So yeah, this is great for them. Yeah,
that's so beautiful. Oh my gosh, this makes me so happy.
No.
I heard about this in passing from Gabby, but I've never really gotten like a deep dive like rundown of what it truly is. So that's wonderful to hear about.
Yeah, and we're starting off with the Alacho Academy kids, but definitely it can be used with people of all ages. You know, if it's a success and if people view it positively, then, you know, we could always expand. We could always go further. We could bring it here to the Hipp, maybe incorporate it in future summer programs. We could take it into more like community theater. We could, you know, like, this isn't just for teenage kids coping with indecision and difficulties in life they've never faced. This, like, as an adult who's age 60, these could be very beneficial. You never stop learning. You never stop dealing with life. You never stop having to go through obstacles, I think. So this curriculum could work for anyone. Maybe like little kids, definitely. Maybe the subject matter, some people might be a bit, I don't know, worry about that. But honestly, personally, for me, I think even kids that are under 10 years old could deal with it. You know?
Yeah, I think so too. You'd be surprised with what kids can handle.
Yeah. Like, never think that, oh, this is going to make the kids depressed if you start to talk about something like racism. Like, so many people have grown up with that. So many people have been exposed to it in a young age. And if you do it in a way that feels safe, I think the kids can always respond well to that.
Totally. What do you think about like theater and performing in general? That's so good for someone's like psyche and like mental health.
Confidence, definitely confidence. You get very familiar with your body if you're doing something like musicals, or even if you're not doing musicals, you get very familiar with your voice, with how you physically and emotionally respond to all that's going on around you. I definitely think from my greatest advantage from it has been the confidence. Going up there and adopting a character and being able to make it as theatrical, as wild, or as solemn, as quiet as needed has been really good in terms of putting you out there and stretching your limits.
Definitely.
And like your day-to-day personality could be very, very different to the role that you're playing up there on stage. And as somebody who's like I'm sometimes worried of embarrassing myself in front of people. Like maybe if I'm like going up to say a speech in class, sometimes people are like, oh my god, that's gonna be so stressful.
It's scary.
But like sometimes I'll think about like, this is a character. I'm coming up here as somebody who does speeches all the time, who's trying to communicate a goal here. Like that really helps me be more positive in how I look at the situation. Say, this is an acting experience. This is a chance for me to just express and do the best and, you know, communicate and see how these guys respond. At the end of the day, I know that it was me as Thuba going up there and doing the speech. But I can adopt whatever alter ego I want. You know, and I can tap into whatever emotions I want that I think are going to be really good for the situation. So definitely with confidence, I think it was really, really great. And then also like being familiar with my body, like moving around on stage, like seeing how my limbs move. You know, like I didn't play a lot of sports growing up. Like I could not tell you if my leg is able to bend that way or whatnot. But like being on theater and being able to like spread your wings, both metaphorically and literally, I think for me was really, really great. And then like not so much in the theater practices that I've done in the past, but definitely with theater of the press, like we do a lot of breathing, we do a lot of like reflection, we do a lot of collaborative work, yes, but dig into yourself, find out how you're feeling, why do you think you're feeling the way you're feeling, how can you take a deep breath, how can you one exercise that we did was like we laughed if we're feeling something positive, we sighed if you're feeling something negative. Then trace that back and be like, okay, do I feel it in my torso? Do I feel it in my legs? Is something I feel like all the way up in my head? Like all of those things.
I want to do that. That sounds fun.
No, it's definitely fun. And there's no right way to do it. You do it in a way that feels good for you, I think. And one little test run for that, I think we did it for like all of 5 minutes, but that was really good for helping me to be aware of where I am, what's going on around me, how I'm feeling, what I want for myself, what's bothering me, all of that. I think definitely, and I would have never ever done that without theater. You know, I think there's yoga, there's meditation, there's all of that, and I've tried it. And
me too.
There's a lot of benefit there, but I think theater is also very much underappreciated for like the meditative benefits that it can have as well.
I agree.
So definitely I do feel not calmer per se, but I do definitely feel like I'm more in tune with myself because of the particular curriculum that we're doing, and because of just also in a theater space with people that are also that have got that energy, you know, that are always up and about, that are always trying to express something.
There's a very specific theater kid vibe.
That's
very evident.
Very much so.
I love it. I was around a lot of them like in middle school, like when I was doing theater, and definitely. And I completely agree with what you're saying about like having like a character that's completely different from your own self is so like, I don't know, it just feels so good to do that.
It does.
And just to like be loud and like be angry if you're like, you know, typically a shy person like I was. It was so nice. Yeah, it was beautiful. So when you do theater, what's your favorite like role in the theater? Like acting, producing, like what's your favorite aspect of it to do yourself?
That's interesting. Hey, I think mostly I've only done a lot of acting, right? That's mostly been what I've been doing. But being on this side of like the development things of it, like we haven't constructed plays or anything, but I do think I definitely would want to be more so in the writing stage of stuff.
That's
like
really cool.
I definitely think I have a lot of ideas, right? Of, maybe scenarios you want to play out, but I've never actually tapped into that. I don't write books or anything like that, but I definitely would like to try and explore that because I think it could be a lot of fun. Like writing this curriculum was fun. So I'm like, okay. So instead of just getting exercises from somebody else's manual, why don't I try and come up with an exercise myself? Instead of looking at this character and trying to model a character after that, why don't I come up with a character myself? Come up with a plot line myself. Not to the point of like a whole thing, but just trying to be a part of the writing process, be part of that creative stage of it, I think would definitely be a lot of fun, as opposed to just being given a character and told act in this way, convey it in this.
You feel more
way.
Ownership over it too.
Yeah, for sure. I want to feel like I was there during the development. My opinion counted for something when this character or this story or this play was being developed. I like having my hand in that part. Definitely. One, it gives me less anxiety because I know that I know how everything's going. I know when things are going to be put out.
You're not like messing up someone else's vision.
I'm like, I know what everybody else is going to be doing. So if I know my role because I know everybody else's role, if that makes sense. So definitely it makes me feel calmer. It makes me feel
less like second guessing.
I can actually enjoy myself. Like, yes, it's work, but I can actually enjoy myself because I know how things are going to go down. I know what's expected of me. I know what's expected of everybody. I had a role in seeing how these things pan out. So definitely writing and costume design. For sure.
Really?
Yeah,
that's so cool.
I would. My office is actually like basically right next to the costume design department.
Oh, true.
And like every morning or every time I'm walking anywhere, I'd always walk past the room and I'd look and I'd be like, oh my god, so many colors.
I know.
And fabrics. And it's so nice to see them do all of that, right? And you see it on stage, you see the costumes, you see the props, you see all of that come to life, and it looks so amazing. And I would definitely, I can't design, right? But I would like to at least be there for the process. Part of developing like a character or play or whatnot, like you then do have some sort of say, I think, in maybe the costume for this character is going to be a certain way because this is their emotion, this is their role in the play. So costume design is so cool. I'm always so amazed by people that are able to do things that I can't. So when I see somebody who's like using a sewing machine, I do not know how to sew, not even by hand. So when I see them doing that, like, to me, I'm like, oh, this is such an otherworldly skill. How the hell did you do that? That's so amazing that you're that talented. So I would love to be able to at least sit in on the process and just see all the colors and things come to life. That would be, I think, even before the writing, I'd say I definitely want to see costume design first and then be a part of the writing process and then acting. I could try and like do a bit more acting, but costume design and writing are the other avenues that I'd really want to try out.
I walk by that room, the room that you're talking about, every day too, and like I have zero creativity in that aspect. Like I could never do that, but every time I walk by, I'm like, that is so cool. Like the mannequins, it's so cool that they can, like, that someone out there can do that. It's like beyond my comprehension
at all. And like with the mannequins, you can see like maybe on Monday they had this piece of cloth around the mannequin's neck, but by Friday they've added like this arm stitch part. Then I'm like, you're just seeing something come to life, and it's so cool,
like piece by piece.
Like it's literally like the proper artist, it's not even just, oh, this is just some random talent that they have that they're able to own. This is like genuine artistry. This is somebody who has an idea and they're able to replicate that in person. I think definitely I would like to be able to have something in my mind and be able to convey it and create it in a way that it's popping up in my mind. And as of yet, I don't think I've truly been able to do that. So I think with the writing, with the costume design, I feel like those people are able to put out what they see in their heads. I'm very envious of people that are able to.
That is so cool.
The idea that they have and see it on stage, just the feelings that would go through me if I was like a director or someone, if I was a screenwriter, a screenwriter, if my work was being portrayed on stage, I think I'd just cry. Be so happy.
That's so it's such a rare thing in life to have like your vision, what's inside your head, be outside of your being. That's so cool.
And it doesn't even have to be on a big stage.
Yeah.
Like here, even something like for your family. Let's say during Christmas, you put on a little talent show, you put on a one-woman show. Like things like that could definitely make you feel so much more confident in yourself. So much more confident in who you are and your ability to convey who you are to other people. Because it's great knowing what your passions are and how you would like to live your life and all of that stuff, right? But it's really nice to be able to know that how you feel about yourself is how you're coming off to other people. Like totally. I don't think I ever want to be perceived in a way that's like feels like, sometimes people will come up to me and be like, oh, I thought you were like this, and it'll shock me, but like that is really not the vibe I was trying to put out. But like you never, like people are always going to perceive you in a different way, so
which is so annoying.
It very much is, even if it's like a good way. It's just like, oh, it's not quite what I was going for there. So
I was like, I carefully constructed what I wanted you to think, and you don't think that.
For sure. Totally. It's like it hits you over the head. It's like, just because I think of a situation one way, if I think of myself as one way, it doesn't mean that's how everybody else is going to view it. And you have to and even with the plays, just because you're putting something out with your vision, your audience is definitely going to look at it a different way. For sure. There's going to be so many interpretations, so many theories that people come up with for why you decided to play this out like this, why you decided to have the lighting up there like this, why you decided the runtime to be however long. Like, it's always going to be open for interpretation, but at least you were able to put something out that felt genuine to you.
Definitely. Who is your biggest influence, either growing up or now, in the theater, like entertainment industry?
Theater. I grew up watching a lot of like movies and shows, right? Like a lot of American, British television. So growing up, you'll see a lot of that stuff and say, oh, I want to be Hannah Montana. Ooh, I want to go up there and be a rock star, or all of that great stuff. But personally, for me, I do definitely think the theater departments that I had at my school did play a role, both negative and positive, in my theater journey. They're never 100% great.
There's always some drama that goes down in the theater department.
You always have some theater teachers that are a little bit crazy, a bit insane.
Take themselves a bit too seriously.
Definitely. When I was in Form 3, I think that would be something like grade 10, grade 9. This was 2017. I had the professor who actually helped me have my first proper acting role. I think I admired him a lot for the dedication that he had. Like he wasn't serious to the point that he wasn't fun. He had that kind of like British humor that's like drab and insulting, but at the end of the day, you still know it's humor. But he's also very serious about his craft, and he wants you to be serious about the craft as well. Even though we were like just high school students and we had to take drama just because, but he still wanted you to be able to gain a lot of perspective and say, oh, okay, I'm doing this theater medium because this is the way that we're trying to tell the story, and this is the best way that we found that we can do that. So,
did you grow up in England?
Oh, no. He immigrated.
Okay.
Yeah,
I was like, wait, what?
I think he was only at my college for about 2 years. Yeah, because he actually traveled with his wife. His wife was a visual arts teacher, and then he was in the theater department. So he was there for a few years, and I was fortunate enough to be able to be in his class while he was there. So I don't think he has like a huge standing in like the theater world, but I definitely appreciated just how far and how whimsical he was willing to go. He wasn't straight-laced. He would always come up with these weird things that seemed very weird to me, like breaking the fourth wall. Never heard of that before him. And just having us kids do something that was different. We all had to do, like, there were 4 different groups in the whole, my whole grade? 4 different groups, but we all did the same play. Ours did not look anything similar to the other 3 plays, and it was very much because of his direction, his management, and saying, yo, do something different, do something that's artistic, do something that's visionary. He was definitely one who was championing different ways, not just straight lace, not just say a line. No, don't just say a line. Maybe be climbing up a wall when
like
you're saying
your
the line.
Like
do it in a way that captures attention. Do it in a way that rivets the crowd and leaves them in awe, and also leaves you genuinely striving.
Yes.
You know, like a lot of the time with like plays, especially if you've got a bit part role, it just feels like you're chilling there. Like if you're a tree, you're just a tree. You're just chilling there as a tree.
Yeah.
But even for us, the background characters, we had like little like gnomes, right, in like a garden, and then like you'd have the gnomes walking and talking and doing all of that, instead of just being like little gnomes by the sidelines. So like things like that, like always push the boundaries. I think I really appreciate that. And I didn't think about theater much like after that whole academic year ended, but definitely when I was coming here to the Hipp and I was trying to develop the curriculum, I was like, push the boundaries, you know? Never have anything just be basic. So many things are exactly the same way. Interpret your vision, have millions and millions of ideas coming your way, and incorporate that in a way that dazzles, you know?
Yeah, definitely. What do you see your future being like as far as theater goes?
I don't know.
Do you want to continue down a theater path, or?
Honestly, I don't see myself doing theater as a career. Just because I do think I still have those old-fashioned ideas of like, oh, theater isn't lucrative, you're not gonna make money, so it's probably not the safest avenue to go down. But I definitely would like to still explore that a bit more, whether it's like during part-time jobs in the summer, whether it's through internships, even if it's like volunteering in like your local community theater programs, whatnot. I think definitely I still want to be a part of the theater world, just because I felt so accepted and enriched by it. So I would like to continue, but I don't see myself ever making it into my main passion. Also, I just have an aversion to making things you're passionate about into your career. That makes sense. Like,
that makes so much sense.
For example, if you're a musician, like let's say you're a singer, I don't think I'd ever want to become a professional singer, just because of like,
it takes the joy out of it.
It sucks the life out of it. Here you are, like, you love to sing, but here you are worrying about royalties, worrying about you're paying for a manager, worrying about touring, worrying about breaking your voice because you're doing all of this work. I feel like it sucks the enjoyment out of it. So if you have a passion, keep it as a passion. Keep it as something that you do, like,
protect it.
Purely for enjoyment. I don't think I'd ever want to make it into my main career. That's
something that I'm realizing now too. The older that I get, I'm like, oh, maybe I should leave this as just a passion.
It makes you stressed, like day to day, like any job, like in today's standards, comes with so much aggravation. Why would you want to make something you enjoy, something that is meant to be a stress reliever? Why would you want to then turn that into something that could potentially bring you that much aggravation as well? I definitely understand wanting that to be it, but I don't think I could. I like to sing. I would like to be in some sort of musical one day in the future, but I could never dream of making that my main thing. It would just drain me.
What's your favorite like Broadway song to sing?
Okay. You know, in Rent, there's this song. What is it called? Seasons of Love. Seasons of Love.
I love that song.
It's cool. It's cute.
If you had to play one person in Rent, who would you pick?
I don't know the characters. Honestly, I'd play all of them. I would honestly. The play is by Jonathan Larson, right? It's like I don't even remember the director.
That sounds familiar though.
Yeah, but I feel like I'm one of those that would like to play a whole bunch of characters. Like you know, when someone's like playing 3 different things and maybe they'll just change the hat. I like that kind of stuff.
That's so funny.
Like, I'm not gonna monopolize the entire play, but I would like to have
I would totally see a one-woman show of you playing all the characters of Rent.
That would be cool, but I think everyone would just be so scared and be like, what the hell is she doing? Like, they'd be like, oh, she's a bit insane. Like, a little bit insane.
I would love that so much, actually. I need this to happen now.
I'd like to play like 2 characters. At least 2 characters. But I really, here's the thing, I know the soundtracks, but if you ask me about the characters in the play, I have no idea. I'd just be like, that one who has that specific sequence in that specific song, that's who I want to play. Couldn't tell you the name.
I love that one song in Rent. Take Me or Leave Me, or whatever, that duet that they do.
I think I know that one.
Take me I love that song.
Yeah.
It's so good.
I think one of the best soundtracks.
Oh,
Definitely.
for sure. I love Rent.
But also, like, yes, it's like a really big play, and like it's great and big for a reason, but also just doing something like smaller scale, like kind of building that up and making it into like a famous thing as well. It doesn't have to be famous, just doing something different. I would like to write like musical stuff, but I do not know any musical theory. So then it becomes, okay, what would I do? Would I do lyrics? Would I do what would I do? I'd probably just be a lyricist and sing. In terms of actually writing the melody and producing the scores, I do not know. I'd like to learn, but as of right now, I don't know a whole lot about
the GarageBand app or whatever.
Yeah, I think I have that. Yeah,
I do too. It's really hard. It's really hard. I'm not good at it.
Like, you'll sit there and you'll see like all of these little compartments, and you'll be like, oh, what is going on? I'm a bit confused. And even when I see like producers mixing music, like maybe I'll see little clips of behind the scenes stuff. It just looks like so many little teeny tiny clips, like hundreds of stuff going on. Then you have this like keyboard thing where it's just so many different buttons. I'm like, I have no idea how you guys are able to produce a solid song from all this mayhem. It looks like a lot.
It's incredible. It's so cool.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
I would like to be able to do that at some point.
Me too. That actually sounds really fun. Yeah.
Like, imagine like for a summer program, let's say, I don't know, you've got some little camp that's like, oh, musical theory, musical development, production. I'd sign up.
Wait, that's a good idea. No one's doing that.
No, honestly, I think we definitely, like, here at the Hipp, we could always do something like that. I think we're so special in that we can really look at so many different avenues. We're not just about the acting, we're not just about the writing, we're not just about the costumes or about the music, we're about the fun times, we're about all those little avenues that you could possibly do. So so many people are passionate about music. Like, definitely if you put something out here at a program, say, guys, come all, it's gonna be fun, so many people would respond. I think definitely so many people would. Thank you so much for coming on this podcast. It's been an honor having you. Do you have any final words or lessons that you've learned from theater, or anything that you want to, tell to the people? I think mainly I'd say, don't just kind of sit there and think, because I never did it growing up, I was never passionate about it growing up, it's just something I'm never going to do again. Always revisit, always explore, always try something different. You never know until you try. An idea of something is often very different to the actual reality of it. So unless you experience it for yourself, you can never truly know if it's something you enjoy or if it's something that isn't for you. Explore for a little bit, see what's out there, try it out. You can't just put yourself in somebody else's shoes. You gotta wear the shoes and you have to try it out, and that's how you'll know. That's how you'll know. That was inspiring as hell. Don't think I came up with that by myself. I'm pretty sure I saw it somewhere else. You came up with it. She came up with it, guys. It felt natural though. No, I was like, what the heck? That was so genius. Maybe I should have just claimed the quote for myself. No, TM Thuba 2023. Copyright, guys. Oh my gosh, but thank you so much. Guys, follow. That was like literally the best advice I've ever heard. I'm gonna follow it. But thank you guys for watching. We'll see you guys next Friday. Bye. Bye, guys.